Howdy everybody, it is Cheri Bant. Happy Friday. Hope you're doing well. I actually just got back from a short little hike with a few of the kiddos and my husband. He has the day off today. Our oldest daughter is in town. Let me see, this is week 32. Living whole food plant-based. Little update for you. I've got some, I don't have a lot, but I earlier in the week I had something that happened that I wanted to share, but I got lots of exclamations here, so I'm gonna share a little something that I encountered. But before I go into that, let's do an update on, let's see, 2:31 in the hospital. That's my weight check-in. 1:48 this morning. So I'm back on track, working out more. It's been a little bit of a hormonal week, if you know what I mean, a little bit. So, so pretty good, I think. Good going into the holiday week, this next week. And with my daughter here, we're going to eat a few things that we wouldn't normally eat. Like tonight, I'm going to make for her jackfruit, like, what's it called? Brisket, kind of. And it does use some Impossible meat, which I've eaten it before. I made it once before. It's really tasty. Last time I like overindulged to the point where I think I gained like 4 pounds in a day or something like that. But part of that was all the other things I had too. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and have those things. We're going to make some of those alternative things that we wouldn't normally eat on a normal basis. And that's what, you know, during the holiday time, you do that. Sometimes you make those choices. You don't have to make those choices, but you just get up and make better choices after you have those indulgences. So I won't eat tons of it, but I'll still have a little bit of it and try it or whatever. But that's kind of what I want to talk about a little bit today too. But before I do that, I do want to talk about trying new things, because just like let's see, the jackfruit. And I think I showed a picture of the jackfruit before. It's kind of a weird thing. It's a fruit that comes in a can, and it's like young canned jackfruit. I don't even know what the brand is. I've gotten it from Thrive Market, and our health food store sells it here. Meijer is supposed to have it, but I can't ever find it on the shelf. But it's actually pretty tasty. It's something I wouldn't have all the time, but it's a nice alternative. You can like put barbecue sauce, put some like lots of spices on it, make it a little spicy, put a little liquid smoke, and it kind of can be like a meat alternative for like tacos and things like that. But other things, I don't know if you're watching on the Instagram or Facebook. Our last week I got my first box for the winter CSA from Crisp Country Acres out of Holland, and I was supposed to get cauliflower, but they swapped it with Romanesco, which I'd never had before, and it was in the fridge for a little bit. I cut it up and cleaned it. I try to do that, like when I don't always though, I'm not gonna lie, I don't always do it. Like I have some cauliflower that needs to be cut that's in there, but I try to prep that stuff right away when I get it if I can, because then it doesn't sit and go bad or whatever. So I cleaned it, cut it up, and I wasn't sure what I was gonna do with it because it looked a little weird. But then I just threw it in the air fryer. I had a picture of it on Instagram. It looked a little charred, but oh my gosh, guys, it was so tasty. It's like, I don't know how to even describe it. It doesn't have the bitterness of broccoli, but it kind of had, I mean, it's the same texture as like cauliflower and broccoli, but it's different, and it's super good. I didn't put anything on it. I just put it in the air fryer, and then I ate it alongside like some leftover potatoes and whatever. I ate all of it. I didn't share it with anybody else because it was just so good. The other thing that I never would eat, like I wouldn't have eaten kale before, and now I always have greens available, whether it's baby spinach. I usually get it in the plastic packaging, and I think I talked about this last week, how it's now this time of year when it's cold outside around here, I think the transport of everything makes it kind of gross. But in the CSA box, we got really good kale, just super good, and it's a little chewy just to eat it. I mean, you really got to wilt it out a little bit, but you can I just sometimes put it in water, throw it, like strip it off the stems, rinse it a little, strip it off the stems, throw it in water, throw it in the microwave, and kind of steam it out a little bit, just a little bit, and put some balsamic vinegar on it. It's actually really tasty. But it's really funny. Some other things I wrote down. Miso, I've used that before. That's in the fridge now. Liquid aminos, that's something I use all the time. I mean, jeweled dates, if you're a sweet tooth person. And I know I've talked about all these things before, but I just wanted to say that if I was starting out with this, I would be a little afraid of all those things. And it's just something you work into. And somebody, like when I was first learning about eating whole food plant-based, I started, because I jumped right in and I realized that's not for everybody, but I did. If I was to suggest doing something, if you want a big change, you want to feel the change, doing it all in is the best way, I think. But I know for some people, as I've been talking to my oldest daughter while she's here, that's probably not always the best solution. But what people would say, as I would listen to them talk on either podcasts or read things, is that your tastes change. And they actually do. Like the stuff that I crave now is definitely not what I craved before. But when you're in the midst of the change, you're like, whatever, whatever. Sure, I'm not going to want my Doritos at, 9 o'clock at night. Not really, no, you don't. But you don't realize as it's happening, it's a slow roll, if that makes sense. You've got to stay consistent in your diet as much as possible so your body gets used to what it's getting. And then it does. Your taste change. It's crazy. When we first started this, I absolutely could not stand nutritional yeast. That's another thing that I use almost on the daily. And now it's like one of my favorite things. So, initially I'm like, oh, there's no way I'm going to be able to like have this stuff. This is gross. And what I actually did was nutritional yeast has, it's something where you can get it fortified, almost like a breakfast cereal with like B12 and a few other things in it. And at first I didn't like that. I thought I could taste the vitamin E taste in it. So I got an unfortified and that's what I used in the beginning. And now I like the fortified better. So it's interesting, but I wanted to share that trying new things, like mangoes, for instance. I never, as a grown person, the first time I had them, was not just a couple months ago. It was the first time I ever tried a mango. So aside from the dried ones that came in like the trail mix, which let's agree on this, that's not really a mango. But aside from that, I had never had a fresh mango ever. And then once you have it, it's like, whoa, I was missing out. So, but anyways, being open to trying new things, and your tastes will change. But the thing and this will be fairly quick, the thing that I wanted to talk about was I had gotten on my phone, I was, on Facebook, I think it was Facebook, I got a sponsored ad for Spectrum Health, which is, they have a lifestyle medicine department. So, and they have culinary medicine, right? Which is kind of similar to what I'm doing. It's medicine. It's, food is medicine kind of a thing. And the physician's assistant that I go to, which I'm actually going for my 6-month follow-up, the 28th. So I'll have to share with all of you. I do my blood work next week. So I'll share numbers with you when those come in. But anyways, he had mentioned it. It's out of Grand Rapids, Grand Rapids is a big city. Spectrum Hospital is a huge hospital. Then they have satellite hospitals all over the region. But they have this lifestyle medicine, which I think is like the missing component, right? In medicine today, like just our offerings, that needs to happen more. Lifestyle medicine. And what that is it's, intervening with lifestyle things to help you get healthier, right? Or someone who's diabetic, going to a lifestyle medicine doctor. So you change your diet and there's lots of theories on what to do that to be, control your diabetes. I truly feel like this is the, a high whole food carb diet, low fat is the way to go. I really believe that. Okay, so I got this thing and they're doing, what did they call it? Spectrum. It's called the Power of the Plants 30-Day Challenge. And I was kind of excited because I'm like, wow, this is great. In January, I signed up for it. They're doing a 30-day challenge for plants. And obviously I've been on it for a while. I just want to see what it's like what their offerings are, like what they're teaching. So each week you have something new that you learn. And then you're supposed to just, cut out the dairy and the meat for 30 days. And they kind of help you. They give you tips and things. But it starts in January. So then you're thrown into like a Facebook group and all the things. So I'm like, whoa, this is great. This is really good, right? So what did I just say? I think that the best diet for someone who is, whether you're insulin resistant, now I'm not a doctor, and I should put a little note at this. I am not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. This is just what I've found for me, what's worked, and what I'm seeing for what I've studied. My opinion is that I think that a whole food plant-based diet, low to no added oil, no added fat aside from whole food fats, and then very limited in those, is the best thing for someone with, type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, even type 1, because you can help reduce your, you can be more insulin sensitive. And, that certainly needs to be done with a medical doctor to have that monitored. But after everything I've learned, it's a great way to help all of those things. Plus, anybody who it's the only diet that is proven to reverse like heart disease. So, and it's proven to have reversed it. Photos, people, things, taken clogged arteries and opened them up. That's where Dr. Esselstyn came in, and Ornish. They proved that with lifestyle medicine you can reverse, not only stop it where it's at, but reverse it. So I think the key there, and I think I've mentioned this before with my weight loss, because I am now at, I don't even have, 80, let me do the math here. I think it's 83 pounds. I can't do the math in my head. I'm a little pooped. I lifted weights today and I walked. And I'll probably walk again later. So yeah, I'm back on the train. The train is moving, which is good. But the weather's good for now, even though, 83 pounds. Even though it's cold outside, so it's a little easier to get that in. But anyways, okay. So yeah, 83 pounds that I've lost. And I think the key to that is I have just stayed away from, until recently, I have stayed away from added oils. I have been sneaking some crackers with the cheese spread that I made that have some added oil in it. I've had some chips, I've had, my daughter brought some Trader Joe's stuff. They have some snickerdoodle vegan cookies. Or they're ginger snaps. Maybe that's what they are. Oh, they're so good. So I've had a few of those things, right? I don't eat a lot of them. It's like occasionally. I don't eat tons of nuts. I limit how much avocado I have. I still eat those things. I just eat them in very small amounts, or I don't eat them very often throughout the week. Even like the Forks Over Knives meal planner, I will tell you, if you go in and you want to just pick your meals, not take the ones that they give you, they're going to be real heavy in like nut sauces. And I think if you like picked your own and you had stuff with nut sauce, like a nut-based sauce on your food all the time, and you're trying to kind of watch your weight, or if you're insulin resistant or you have type 2, I think that's going to kind of be a little bit problematic for you. I think it's just going to make the response, your body's response, slow, because you got to get the fat out of your cells so that you have the sensitivity to insulin and all of that. So, okay, so back to the 30-day challenge. I was like they got a confirmation, and I got on their website, and they have all of these recipes. So I look at the recipes, guys, and they're all plant-based recipes, which I'm like, yay. And I'm looking for cheese. I'm like, no cheese, right? No cheese. So that's good. So I'm like, well, this is good. And then I start looking, and every single one of them where there was a sauteed vegetable, a baked or roasted vegetable, they're oil, like multiple oils on things. And this is the thing. It made me mad because it's half right. Or not even, it's 3/4 right, but a quarter wrong. Because the thing is, for some people, if they just did those recipes and they stopped eating McDonald's and all the really heavily, super saturated fatty foods, that would be good, right? That's good, right? But where I see the problem to be is if somebody is in a position where they really want to make a major change, and this is a hospital, a lifestyle medicine center, and they're promoting a plant-based diet, and they're calling it a whole food plant-based diet, but they're not doing low fat. And partly because I think that people still think you need it. You can get your omega-3s and 6s someplace else. You don't need to get that from olive oil or avocado oil or coconut oil. Coconut oil is super not good for you. And it's all, I wanted to read this to you because it just made me so mad. Because the thing is, it's one thing for if I have an opinion, or the deceased Atkins has an opinion, died of heart disease, heart attack, I think, heart disease, coronary artery disease. So that, high fat, low carb diet didn't work for him. But, and that's what started us on the low carb kind of train anyways. And all of that. I don't even want to get into that now. But anyways, okay, so my thing is, I think it just leads people to where oil, if you it's like the pleasure trap. If you ever eat one potato chip, you want to eat more potato chips. And part of that is because it's not only you get addicted to the crunch, but the oils, it's kind of like it overrides your ability. It's not that you don't have control, but it makes it harder for you to say no. It's kind of like the commercial. You can't just eat one, right? And that's the oil. That's not, it's a combination of the salt and all of that too, but ew. If you're going to do it right. And it kind of pissed me off, to be honest with you, because I'm like, this is a hospital, has all these, and they've got people under their care that are probably coming out of the hospital, having had maybe even, major surgeries, and that it's lifestyle medicine. And I think that that's great. And it's better choices than probably what some people would have, but I still think it could be even better, especially for people who have major illnesses. But I wanted to read this. This is from, I don't know if you can see this, but Center for Nutrition Studies. This is where I got my certification for plant-based nutrition through. This is just about oil. It says surprising nutritional facts about oil. Gram for gram, oil has the same number of calories as beef fat. And you're like, yeah, so, right? Coconut oil. This is what I was saying about coconut oil. It's 90% saturated fat. And lard, for some of you are probably not old enough, but my grandmother used to have a bucket of lard next to her burners, and she would, or bacon grease, she'd reuse that. But lard, she had a big old bucket of lard. Lard is only 40% saturated fat. Coconut oil, guys, 90% saturated fat. Lard is only 40%. This is my thing. 1 tablespoon of oil has 120 calories. 1 tablespoon of oil, 120 calories, and 14 grams of fat. 120 calories, 14 grams of fat. 1 tablespoon of oil. Now, mind you, if you're using 2 tablespoons and you saute up a meal for 4 people, and there's still some oil that's going to be left in the pan. It's not all on your food, but just think about that when you can saute with water or vegetable stock. And then this is another thing, all my ladies out there, okay? A 130-pound woman would have to jog approximately 1.2 miles to burn off 1 tablespoon of oil. Let me repeat that. For all of you out there who don't want to jog or maybe even exercise at this point, a 130-pound woman would have to jog approximately 1.2 miles to burn off 1 tablespoon of oil. Okay, and then let me see what else we got here. Within hours, this is the thing. This is really what it comes down to. This is probably the most important, not even talking calories, not even talking jogging, not even talking saturated fat. Within hours of ingesting oil, doesn't matter what kind, olive oil, corn oil, palm oil, etc., arteries stiffen and their ability to dilate is impaired. Meaning that your heart can no longer, not just your heart, but your arteries can no longer pump the blood through your body the way that God intended them to do. So, and that's oil. So, and this is one last thing here. It says, keep in mind that a plant-based diet does not mean a fat-free diet. And this is kind of what I was talking about. Our bodies do need dietary fat to function, and plants have all we need. So, and there's protein in plants, there's fat in plants. And like I said, I eat like avocados, or I eat nuts. I just don't do a lot of it. So anyways, I just had to share that because I still signed up for this. So we'll see how it goes. I want to hear what they have, because they even talk about, they're going to do a thing about mastering diabetes, which I want to hear what they have to say, because Mastering Diabetes is the book. It's, Cyrus and Robbie. They are both type 1 diabetics, and they do whole food, plant-based, fat, like low fat diet, and their insulin resistance or use of insulin is, obviously they have to have it for the rest of their life because they're both type 1. If you have anybody that you know of that's diabetic, any kind of diet, it's Mastering Diabetes, and I'll put a link to actually their stuff. It's good stuff, and it's all about increasing your body's ability to be sensitive to insulin. That's what you need. You need to get the fat out of your cells. It's not sugar that causes diabetes. It's fat. So oil is not a good thing. And it has no real nutritional value for you, and no fiber. Like, is it 1 tablespoon of olive oil? It's like 40 olives. Would you eat 40 olives? If you put 2 tablespoons in your saute that you're going to do of your vegetables, that's like 80 olives. No way. All right. So I just wanted to share that. Maybe I should have had Haley on, but she hopped in the shower. That's my oldest daughter that's visiting from out east, and it's been fun to have, like, all the kids are here. It's great. I hope all of you have an opportunity to spend some time with your family over the next week or so. And I'll be back next week, which would be, I think that's New Year's Eve, right? On Friday? I think so. I'll still do a video then, and I'll give you an update. I'll let you know how this all went, because I'm gonna have some snacks. Gonna have some of that Mayoka cheese, just a little bit of it on some Mary's crackers. Maybe I'll do some of the Shane and Simple like cheese spread too. If you can look on my Facebook page, I think I shared that recipe. If you want it, I'll share it with you. But check out Shane and Simple too. He has a lot of great recipes. So anyways, I was going to make this short. That's what I said, and it's 20 minutes long. Well, I appreciate you if you made it to the end, and come back next week, and we'll have a chat. And if you're not in our Facebook group, I post in there time to time. I would love to have you in there. The link is in the description below the video as well. So, and check me out on Facebook and Instagram if you're not following along there too. But if you're not back next week, Merry Christmas to you all. And yeah, thanks for watching. You have a blessed one. Go eat some plants and move your body. See you later. Bye.